Hello and welcome to Louise Singleton Creations. If you're a complete beginner when it comes to laser engraving and cutting, or if you're a hobbyist wanting to elevate your craft safely at home, today's video could be the one for you. Today I'm going to be introducing you to the Creality Falcon A1 laser engraver and cutter, which Creality very kindly sent to me in exchange to showing you what it can do in one of my videos. So if you would like to find out why I think the Creality Falcon A1 is perfect for a beginner, or even just someone who's on a very tight budget, stay tuned and enjoy the video. One of the first things I discovered when unpacking the Falcon A1 is actually one of the first things that make it attractive for beginners, and that is when the packing is removed from the inside, it's ready for action. No setup is required other than attaching the exhaust hose and the air assist, which couldn't be simpler. I have to say, one of the things I noticed is that compared to my much more expensive 10-watt laser engraver that I already have from a different company, this is actually more robust and well made, in my opinion, than my more expensive model, which was quite a surprise. And then I noticed that the main opening has a rubber seal all around it to help to keep it quiet and to help keep any smells in the machine and extracting out the back rather than through any gaps. I don't see any gaps in this machine like I do in my more expensive one. Another difference that makes it a step up from my other machine is the fact that it has two openings, which I really wasn't expecting, but that makes it so much more easy to access anything on the inside and also easier for cleaning too. It has a built-in smart camera which can scan Falcon selected materials like acrylic and wood and leather, anything that you buy from Falcon, and automatically adjust the settings for flawless results. So you can say goodbye to the trial and error test grids. With its core XY speed and precision, you can achieve up to 600 millimeters a second engraving speeds and crisp details on your projects, perfect for intricate artwork, custom jewellery or DIY home decor. Well, so far you might be thinking, wow, that's excellent value for money. All those added features at a cheaper price, how have they done it? Well, we will look into how they have managed to make it cheaper very soon. But let's finish having a look at it. On this side, you have all the buttons and portals all in one place, which I think is excellent. It keeps it nice and simple. Another great feature for beginners. At the back you have the exhaust hose connector, and there I have the air assist at the back as well. The air assist has the wobbly rubber feet, which means that you get really good suspension on it and the vibrations don't make a lot of noise, so I like that little feature. And then everything else is very clean and simple. And here it is in its position. Now I have swapped it over with my other laser engraver, and I had my other one connected to an air purifier underneath the desktop, and so I've just connected it to the same air purifier. And so yeah, there it is, all set and ready to go. And so there is an air purifier available on the Creality website. I will put a link in the video description. However, you don't have to use an air purifier. You could exhaust it straight out the window or through a vent, as long as it's safe to do so. So now is the time to tell you how I think Creality might have managed to save some money in production costs to bring this to you at such a low budget price. The first thing is there is no honeycomb base included. You can still use it just the way it is, but the only difference is that with the honeycomb base you get a good airflow underneath your material. Without it you don't. So I came up with this idea using a silicone mat, which seems to work really well. It's got like little pyramids on it, and so you get good airflow. It does scorch it a bit, but yeah. You find ways of doing things, don't you? And you can purchase the honeycomb grid or whatever you call it to put on the base if you want to. Like I say, it's not essential. It's been designed this way so you can use it as it is. I just prefer to have some airflow going on underneath the material to avoid the scorching. And now on to the second way that I think they've managed to make some savings. The Falcon A1 does not have autofocus. You've got to focus the laser manually. But it's actually not a massive problem. It's very easy to do. You use the multi-level focusing block that I have here. Choose which level it needs to be at for the material you're using. Place it underneath the laser head and then loosen the thumb screw at the bottom there that you can see, and the laser head will move downwards until it's touching the level that you want it to touch, and then you know it's in focus and you can tighten the thumb screw again and it's ready. And so I might be completely wrong, but that's how I think they've saved a little bit of money in production costs to make it accessible to everyone. For my first project, I have this SVG file which I purchased on Etsy, and here you can see I'm working in the Falcon Design Space. It's very simple to use. Here you can see in the layers menu, everything that's in red is going to be line cutting and everything in blue is engrave. Here I've gone down to the materials menu and I've selected basswood, and I'm just scrolling down here to make sure it's on 3mm because that's what it is. I didn't actually change the size of the sheet on the right, which I should have done really, but never mind, it was fine. I did have a little practice at cutting wood before this project, and I did find that the settings were a little bit too strong. They didn't need to be quite as strong as they were, so I increased the speed from 350 to 450, and yeah, it was all a little bit quicker that way and not so intense, and the wood didn't scorch as much as it did on my practice. So even though the settings are already in there for you, it's very easy to alter them if you choose to. So next to the layers menu, you also have the camera menu. Here you can take a photo and see your material on your computer screen and then move your images to make sure they're exactly where you want them. And with the display photo switch, you can easily toggle between your canvas and your photo. And before you start cutting, if you want to, you can click the frame button, and that way the laser will mark out on your material exactly the outline where it's going to be cutting to make sure you haven't missed your material. Then you can click start and watch the magic happen. With the specially tinted orange screens, your eyes are protected, so you don't need to wear goggles and you can watch it for as long as you like. And in case you hadn't realised, this is actually sped up. I think it was ×6 speed, so yeah, it took a lot longer than what you're seeing. When it was finished, it was very easy to pick up all the bits that I'd cut out, and everything I didn't need just fell away. It was very nicely cut through. No problems there at all. And you can probably see also that there isn't any scorching, so that's a bonus too. And now I just want to give you a closer look just to point out the intricacy there. Look at those antlers, and they didn't break. How amazing is that? I've never been able to cut such fine detail on a laser engraver before. And I have tried a few now. Not lots, but yeah, I do. This is definitely the finest cutting I've ever managed to achieve on any of my machines. And you can see that the silicone sheet that I used, I think it's like a trivet or something like that. I got it off Amazon. That's really quite scorched but not cut. Not at this stage anyway. It might do eventually. It won't last forever, that's for sure. But the great thing is I could easily pick it up, take it to my bin and, shake out the excess, then wash it in my sink. I could wipe down the work surface here. If I hadn't used my silicone sheet, you would have cutting marks on that base, which is another thing I wanted to avoid. It's designed for that to happen. It isn't a problem that it marks the base of the machine. I just don't like the way it looks, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to cover it. But here you can see it's nice and easy to just wipe down and you're good to go. Here's the silicone sheet after I'd given it a wash, and it was a lot better. You don't need to wash it every time after you've used it. If you shake off the excess, all the bits and bobs that have accumulated on there, that's enough. But I just wanted to show you how you can wash it, and yeah, that works really well. After that first project, I had lots of little bits of scrap, but they're not actually scrap. You can I could make 50 pairs of earrings if I wanted to out of all that scrap wood. So I'm going to make just the one pair now, just to show you how easily it can be done. Here we are back in the Falcon Design Space. The first project I did, you saw me use a file which I'd purchased on Etsy, but you don't have to purchase files. You can make your own designs in the Falcon Design Space, as I'm doing here, or you can import free files from elsewhere. You can also go onto the library from the Falcon Design Space for lots of free projects ready-made, which I will show you soon. So I've just shown you the images that are available in the design space. I chose the leaves and I drew out the oval shapes, and not oval, more of a teardrop shape, and put some little circles in there to cut out holes for the earring fastening thingies. the jewellery findings, the hooks, I don't know. You know what I mean. I needed those little holes in there. So yeah, now because we have the photo option, I can move them around and make sure they're positioned just right within the space I have on my scraps. I did the same settings as before, but this time I've got the engrave settings in there as well. I didn't alter those, I don't think. I just left them as they were in the pre-programmed settings, and it came out really good. When they were finished, there's a little bit of scorching on there, and I just need to poke out the circle from the hole that's still stuck in there. But other than that, not too bad. If you do get scorch marks, they're very easy to get rid of. Just rub it on the sandpaper here like I'm doing. It's 180 grit sandpaper, or those magic erasers that you can buy. You don't actually need to use sandpaper, but I was out of magic erasers, so I used the sandpaper and it worked really well. And I decided I wanted to try adding some stain to my earrings. And although it's not technically wood stain, I suppose it is. It stains it, basically. So I suppose it is a wood stain. It's brusho, and you just add the powder pigments to the water, and it gives you a really strong, intense colour. And it does work really well as a wood stain, so that's what I used. I painted them on both sides and allowed them to dry. And then I decided to add some UV resin. And it's obviously not an essential step in the process, but I thought it might give them something extra. And as soon as I got the UV resin on there and it started to dome, I could see it was a good choice. One thing I forgot to tell you was I did use some black acrylic paint on the leaves just to make them stand out a bit. Here they are, all finished with the earring hooks on, and I think they look great. I'm really pleased with those. Just think how many of those pairs of earrings you could make out of the scraps you got from the first project. It really is quite good. And speaking of the first project, I did forget to show you it. Here it is. I decided to paint each layer. In the end, I'm not sure if it was better before I painted it, but never mind. It gives you an idea, doesn't it? And if you imagine if I'd done each layer big on one sheet per layer, it would make a really good piece of wall art. For my third project, I wanted to show you something on acrylic. So I had a look through the library that's in the Falcon Design Space, where there's lots of pre-made projects already there for you, and I chose something very simple. I decided to make a ruler for my granddaughter, Millie. With the project open, I right-clicked and selected Ungroup so that everything was separate. Then I could delete the name that was already on there and add my granddaughter's name in its place. Once again, I didn't need to worry about the settings. I just chose the black acrylic option and it automatically set my engrave settings and my cutting settings. Once again, this is sped up. Acrylic does take much longer to cut and engrave if you want to get a really nice finish. And speaking of nice finishes, take a look at that. I think Millie is going to love it, and yeah, she can take it to her new class in September and be very proud. No one's going to be able to pinch that, are they, with her name on it? Yeah, I think that's really cool. Right, onto some leather, or should I say faux leather in this instance. That's what I'm using today. I did have a practice before doing this because my experience with leather and laser engravers in the past has not been good. However, I didn't need to practice. My first attempt came out perfectly first try. So this is my second one that you're about to see me make in a different colour so that I can interchange the pieces and both my purses would have two different colours. I thought that might work quite well. This one is going to be for my mum. Her name is Marlene, so the initial is for her there. And yeah, let's see how this one turns out. So as I mentioned before, using the settings that were already in there for leather of the thickness I'm using, it works. It cut perfectly, no scorching, and it engraved really well too. But what I would say is, if you're going to be doing leather, it's a good idea to do a test grid, and you can do that in the Falcon Design Space, because when you're engraving, different settings will give you a different engraving kind of shade. I won't say colour, although saying that, it did come out as a colour. It's quite green, the M, you'll see in a minute. So yeah, it does kind of make a colour. So a material test grid would be a good idea. And because this video is packed full of projects, I'm speeding up a bit now. I've skipped all the stitching and now you can see it in action. Doesn't that look good? I think it's really great that you can use the machine to cut out patterns and really save you some time. And it's so accurate as well with all those stitching holes. Yeah, I didn't have to worry about getting the holes in the right place. It was all done for me. Now let's engrave some stainless steel. You could place it directly onto the base of the machine because we're not cutting this time, but I don't trust myself. I put it on some balsa wood just in case I didn't quite get my engraving in position. I was trying my hardest not to put marks on the base of the machine, but that's just me being a bit obsessive. It doesn't really matter. It's designed as a sacrificial base, I think they call it. It really doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah, I put it on a sheet of wood just in case. This was all done in the Falcon Design Space using an image from their image library and curving my text using their curve tool. And this is going to go at the base of one of my candle pots. I used the settings that were already in there once again for brushed stainless steel and it worked perfectly. In a minute you'll see it close up, but first of all let's cut some cork, which will also go on my candle vessel base. I've already got it prepared. There I have 2 circles, one inside the other. I've already done some practicing. You might be able to see there on the bottom corner, just to get the settings right, and I ended up with a speed of 2000, power 60 and 2 passes. And I have a feeling I forgot to change the level of the laser because this came right up to the edge of the cork. The alignment was off. So you must always remember to check the level of the laser with the tool that I showed you right at the beginning. But I got away with it. I only just missed off a very tiny bit on the edge. But other than that, it was fine. And here's the pot that I made, and it's going to go onto the base. If you're new to my channel, what you're seeing now is just a Wednesday review. Sometimes I do them, sometimes I don't. My main thing on my channel is my Sunday videos where I make things like this. So yeah, it's worth a look at my other videos if you're interested. With my adhesive cork in place, all I needed to do was add a little bit of E6000 glue and then add my stainless steel into the centre, and it really does give it a touch of class. So before I tell you my conclusions about the Falcon A1, I do have one more quickie just to show you. I know you've already seen me cutting wood, but there was one project that I was just finding irresistible. I purchased this on Etsy. I just loved the look of it because it reminds me of my dog with the flapping ears. My dog's ears flap like that when she runs. And so I had to have a go at this other layered image. It was very, very detailed and it did take a long time. There were a lot of little bits that needed pushing out afterwards, but I just wanted to give it a go. This time I did it in really bright colours. I thought the bright colours would make it look nice and fun. I think I used red and blue and yellow and white. I can't remember. But right on the front part, I decided to use some gold to just give it a little bit of a special finish. And I quite liked it with the gold on. And there it is, all finished. And once again, I will say, I think it would be really good if you did each layer full size and made a nice large piece of wall art. It would be so much fun to have that on your wall. I love it. So here's everything I made today all together, and you probably can already guess what I think to the Falcon A1. I think it's a brilliant entry-level laser engraver and cutter for anybody who's never tried laser engraving before and doesn't want to commit to purchasing something very expensive in case it's a hobby they decide they don't like. It's great to be able to start off with something so simple and so affordable. With its affordable price, compact design and user-friendly features, and whether you're a DIY enthusiast, an aspiring artisan, or someone looking for an easy way to personalise everyday items, the Falcon A1 makes creativity effortless. With its compact design and space-saving small footprint, I think it's perfect for home businesses. And added to that, with its efficient smoke extraction, laser leak protection and emergency stop button, it's also very safe to have in your home. For something that's so affordable, I think the quality is amazing. And of course there are more features that Creality could add to this, but then it would be more expensive, wouldn't it? And it would be missing the point, in my opinion. So in conclusion, the Creality Falcon A1 gets the thumbs up from me and I would highly recommend it. If you want more information, please find links and all the good stuff in my video description, and then you can go and have a closer look for yourself. I really hope you found this video useful. Please do give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe if you would like to. And I will see you again on Sunday. Thank you for watching and bye for now.